Hey everybody, or nobody. Everett's Live Music. Another shout out moving through the month of February. I'm coming up on my year here, I believe, for these shout outs and stuff. And today, as a point of interest, dive right into some of the, recently seen some attacks on the social media type stuff with Zuckerberg and different things, and I shouldn't even have to mention the names of these people, but whatever. I don't know what to think about a lot of this stuff. I don't like it very much, the technology and stuff. I started this like about a year ago doing this YouTube thing, and I'm not sure about any of it, but I have made a lot of music, and some days you wonder, these days and ages where people take stuff from one another, whatever it is, but if you get it out there, you get some messages going, and try to put yourself out there to share a message. I think a lot of social media, man, it's got to be really crazy if you're sending a lot of angry messages and a lot of different stuff, and it's really funny too how people interpret sometimes even text messages, and even messages, via email, sentences that you put together, and there's no insults or nothing. Sometimes you're just direct to the point, and already emotions have been attached to it. So maybe it's something like you have to give a class on it growing up, and then, it easily for me, it's so, like, I don't really enjoy this a whole lot. I try. I got the kid, she views it a little bit, but at least I've tried to make something and tried to share and become part of the social media thing, not in a great effort to be known, but just to have tried to share a message about us, and the hopes and the ideas of us being able to change maybe someday. But back to the interpretation of the way messages are shared and viewed in different, it's really weird, like I even see like in my last message, if you check out the last message before this one, I was talking about competition, how it belongs sometimes, and some play in some, right, we have a big Super Bowl weekend, so huge, right? Yeah, competition would belong, the idea of it all. But in like so many of the ads I see, like on when I'm like scrolling through YouTube, and I'm not real computer savvy, so this is my first thing I've tried. And, when I go through a lot of it and I look at the headlines a little bit and different stuff, a lot of it's always like, this guy crushes that guy in a woke statement or something. And this is what I'd be talking about, like, dude, where competition doesn't belong. These are just opinions for the most part. Sometimes scientific fact has been stated, and whether you're going to believe in it or not, well, that's going to be up to you. I have a lot of opinions and stuff too, but just the idea of some of it being such a, like a competition, like this speaker destroys these other people, and we do it in our media too, right? Like with the presidents, they'll be going, and this is the big show, and we're gonna win this thing. We're gonna win, and it's, to me, like, yeah, okay, but isn't the most important part that we find solutions to so many of the problems we're facing as a people? It's not a game, man. On so many levels, dude. Like, for our politics and stuff, this is not a game. You're not, and it gets carried away, I think, very easily. And before you know it, the idea of having a conversation and an argument that leads to solutions becomes one side deciding full out and all in, they will prove to be right. No matter what they got to do. It happens so often for so many of us in life, just it does, if you look at like big situations and small ones, you see it on different levels. It's unsettling that's we got to see that that's not the best. And you don't have to start out the conversation with some come on, man, some idea. Now everybody mind your manners, because you get to fucking swear or say whatever, man. I mean, but there's a different way of bringing it across where, you know, it's not a you thing. I'm not saying to you. I'm just passionate in speaking, and the whole conversation shouldn't be aggressive and swearing. But yeah, man, that's important for all of us. I don't know if, and I doubt a lot of this anyways, because you'll hear me talk that maybe we're just being used to compile a bunch of feelings and ideas and data. But, you know, we got to trust a little bit in what's happening around us. Maybe, and not get so involved in a conversation or an argument about ideas and stuff sometimes where it's like so important that you win. Maybe the most important part is you keep having the conversations, and the feelings and the thoughts and the ideas are expressed on a level where it's not a win-lose, you know, subject for you. So to me, that's got to be a big important thing today. When I think about that, I was flashing back to the last message. And then we got the big game coming up. I don't really watch sports much anymore. I don't watch TV. I watched YouTube this last year. This is like a year of YouTube for me. and I don't have a big response following or anything. Not yet, at least. I don't know, maybe the comments are turned on and off sometimes. I wonder about some of this technology. I mean, I'm not dumb to any of it, because I've had a business for over 15 years now and had to use it all for one thing or another. But, you know, I complain about the idea of money being a bigger problem for a lot of us, and greed and stuff. I don't know how to say it. I'm not against sports and athletes and different things like that, but they make so much money. I do believe to one degree or another the system that we live by has failed us. How many have lost the love of the sport, and now you just live for the money? And the kids see it, man, wherever you go. You're going from this place to that place because this place is going to pay you so much more than that place, and that place will give you more millions than that, millions and millions and millions. And what else you going to do? I mean, when that's pretty much what we've done as a people in a society, is you better get the money while you can, for one reason or another. You know, so I don't like totally have... I mean, sports are wonderful, competition and working as a team and stuff. But it's just like when it gets up to that big level, the idea of everybody's going everywhere all the time. There's no real home. I think Green Bay Packers are the only one that really has a team where the fans own it. And I don't know how glorious that is to be involved in any of that. But it does sound cool, right? And, you know, I can remember back like to the Padres, back when they played the Yankees, what was it, 98 season maybe, if I'm remembering right. It's kind of like one of the years where I lost a lot of taste for the professional sports, because that's a small market team, went up against the biggest money team. They got beat bad and swept in the World Series. You know, but the next year, even though the Padres made it to the World Series, the team dismantled. And like, if you're like a kid maybe growing up and that's huge to you, but just the idea that it breaks apart, is that what professional sports is? Maybe it's not meant to be anything more than that. I'd be cool to get like hits back like on conversations for this, but just the idea of that, and hearing from like the owners, we couldn't afford to keep the team together. And I don't think it really matters to a lot of them where they play. You know, I remember back to, you know, I'll let a lot of this go and leave it open for conversation, because it's good. It's good to have the talks. But, you know, or even back to like a guy like Charles Barkley. Remember him saying at one time, somebody was like, "You're a role model," and he's like, "I'm no role model." And I don't know where exactly this was so many years ago, like I can't remember when, but man, it's a long time ago. And he's right. And at the moment when it happened, I think I might have been even like favoring the idea that, yeah, you kind of are, but you're not by choice. You're just made into that figure. And you're like, yeah, well, I'm not. And to me, like, if I was in those positions, I'd be like, I make an awful lot of money. It's not that I don't care about people, it's just things are going to affect me different in life. The reality of the world around me, it happens differently. So don't use me all the time to try and sell things, opinions and feelings and endorsements. And come on, man, it's not enough I just play. I play really well. I do what a lot of other people can't do. I have so much respect for that in sports, That's the beauty of it, and that, getting to that level of competition, I think that's a great thing that happens, and we're pushing one another, and it's entertaining at the same time. But when we take it further and further, and then they just make more and more money off of this and that, and you can't even blame some of the athletes or some of the stars or some of the actors and stuff in life, right? Because you sign contracts and you're agreeing to do advertisements and all this other stuff. To me, that kind of breaks down a lot of that. In a nutshell, that's where I am with some of that stuff too, So I'm all over the place today. Hey, man, have a good weekend with the Super Bowl. Party it up. However you feel about it. It'd be great if I ever got info back, but, hits back on some of these issues because, like I said before, I mean, it's just the desire to have the conversations sometimes and to start looking at, for me, what society and what some of our biggest problems are in society is money and greed. It's not like an athlete's the super greedy guy or an actor or something, but I don't know, man. Some people make an awful lot more than others. And we're not really living life on a level where the whole idea is let's jump into a idea of the terrorists and stuff around the planet and stuff, right? I'm going to jump on another page, but around the planet, like stuff like that happening, and then we forget that even within our United States of America, we've had domestic terrorists blow up the FBI building, and whether you're gonna be part of an insurrection, and now they argue about that back and forth, like, oh, well, that's not this, it is, and if they could charge them. Come on, man, I don't really know, like, if Trump organized it personally, okay? It didn't seem like he really tried to stop it. I don't know if you can really convict a man of doing that with that situation, but I don't have all the evidence in front of me. All I'm saying is it doesn't matter what color or what you think or how you feel, because these days have been just getting more and more bubbled up, it seems like at times. So, an important thing to look at in life. And it's not just Muslims and different things. And like I heard one guy say earlier, and it was from years before, but, Muslims somewhere in England, or like in England, right? So I don't remember 2/3 or 1/3 or more of them. It was a big portion of them, I guess, somehow how they do some interview, say they wouldn't even tell if someone was going to do something bad. Well, that goes for a lot of people, I think. A lot of different groups and stuff. It's unfortunate that that's the world we live in this day. I think a lot of that is driven by money, greed. A lot of it, this difference of religion, who's going to be in charge, who's God's best. I mean, we don't even think about the planet. That's it, dude. The planet's it. And everything on it that lives, including everyone. And how we decide to move forward every day in an idea of balance. It's been unbalanced a long time, so I always go back to that. I think that's important to always touch on and bring into the picture. And that's, like if you were to tell me to be fruitful and multiply because this or that says so, or it's my right, or I can afford these many children. Right. Well, that's kind of cool, but if we look at how things have been going and the population and how much land has been taken, how much more land is being taken every day for the farming and the new plantations of different crops on different parts of the planet that we don't even see because they have their right to make their big money throughout the history, and the desire for more, and not a balance disturbs me. So I speak out against that again today, or, try to bring it to a level of conversation to possibly be had. I think it's important things to mention, and the future of our well-being is right in front of us, man. We just, I don't know. A lot of people still argue and debate over the climate changes. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why throughout our country here in the United States, it doesn't matter if you're a car company or you're a shoe company. It doesn't matter what kind. We've sold everything out to it. And to me, the idea that your level of greatness is exclaimed on this level of financial security, and not this, the prosperity of the planet and the people. It's, to me, I know they express that at times, but it doesn't show by how we live with so much competition and so many gimmicks and so many slogans and so many different things. From going to the damn grocery store, man, and if you got the coupon, or you got the phone number, or you got the code, or you're going to get this, or if you downloaded the app, you can get that, and then sometimes you can get a deal on a pizza only if you have the app. Do you not have your phone with you? Oh, that's too bad. All this, gimmick stuff, dude. It's like, why? To just waste our time? Are we that bad? Would we not be able to... Would it be so awful to not have to work so far from home? Why does that always happen? Why does everybody travel so far to a city, and then they travel so far to get back home to a suburb where they feel better? It's so many conversations to be had. I have information on some of that stuff, and a little bit of research, and I've only touched on a lot of the matters, but the idea of all of it and the way we do things in order to try and get to a better tomorrow. Even like here in the United States, we're having some border crisis, they say, and then they try to blame it on the president. It's like directly, like, pow, Joe opened the door to everybody. Maybe the front door. Do you have ID? Come on in. Just like when I've crossed the border many times, I don't think really, it's just the dramatics that we put into so much of this. And it creates an argument and a competition in a situation where we don't need to argue. We need to talk and find a solution, not argue, not one up the other one. And I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the border, but I don't like the wall. I don't like the razor wire. No, I don't like a lot of that stuff because it totally infringes on the idea of the natural migration of animals and different things. You tear up everything just to satisfy some feeling. Nationwide. Send our military down there. We have soldiers, right? I don't know how many, but I would think that'd be a good exercise. And that's a national security event. If our border is being overrun, and you're not down there to hurt and kill and do all these, is Mexico helping out on this situation at all? Do they lend any? So many conversations to be had, go down there and try to I don't exactly know, but I would think to just make it a bigger argument or some political debate momentum gainer or something is wrong to me. I don't like the walls and the razor wires and all, because then the animals are affected too. That might be the only place they get the drink of water. Maybe you don't care about them. We have not cared about them for so long. It's important to me, to one degree or another. It's not just this border thing, but why is everybody leaving their homes? And so many questions and conversations to be had. And if it's not being, addressed properly, it easily becomes more of a conflict that's the flames are fanned, you know. Um, but it'd be great to get some comments back. Maybe there'll be comments allowed on this one. But the Super Bowl weekend, you know, I try to raise some questions about things happening and different ideas and ways we can maybe move to a better future, you know, if we stop arguing over this and that, man, and maybe make it's hard to deny the planet being, but instead it seems to be money, financial gains. You can't deny what it would be like. They pick on Muslims and stuff. Could you imagine living in Mexico and some of the places with the drug cartels and stuff? We just don't know how it is. And no, it's not exactly a problem of a citizen of the United States, but it is our neighbor. And the ideas of understanding it and trying to figure out maybe, I don't know, ideas to solve the problems rather than just pipe off with some kind of comment that degrades another person or a way of life or, come on, really? That's all there is, really, for us. Those are the greatest achievements in life, don't you think? When you see people want to take care of themselves and they join together, and it's not, to me, it's always not going to be, yeah, they made this big city and now they're building big buildings. No, stop it. A lot of that to me never really resonates as like an idea that's like that's where I'm looking at. I'm not looking at every place on the planet that hasn't become some industrial frickin' juggernaut to just become that now while the other places fizzle out. Is that it? Because we've been doing that a long time too. They just move from one place to another. Wherever they can get it done cheaper with less regulations. And if I'm polluting over there, then I'm not polluting the planet. Bullshit. But hey, man, party safe. Have a good weekend. Peace.